You guys ever feel like the days repeat themselves? Like deja vu slaps you in the face again and again, and you're destined to repeat every last miserable day of your life until every move that you make is devoid of all meaning? Well, I don't, but today we are gonna check out two pedals that I have essentially already checked out on this channel, but now they've been smashed together in a single box and updated with an analog speaker out to go front of house direct. Today, we are checking out the Westminster Effects 2716 Deluxe, the signature pedal of Skillet's Seth Morrison. Ooh, let's do it! Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Sporty Spice, and welcome to Belligerent Studios. What I do here is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar equipment, I record it with a simple setup, and I trip over my words the entire time. So if you're into Eastender thrash riffs, drop C hardcore riffs, and dudes who trip over my words the entire time, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on your way out so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Thanks! Alright guys, so today is a new product release day for my friend Cody over at Westminster Effects. This is the 2716 Deluxe pedal, and as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this is basically two of Westminster Effects Bing Bong pedals shoved into one Bing Bong box. I am recording much later than I normally do, and it's going terribly. So this is Seth Morrison of Skillet's signature pedal, and basically the idea behind the deluxe version of this pedal was taking some of the updates that they have done to the 2716 V2 preamp pedal, which is also being released today, is making the low end a little bit beefier and clearing up a little bit of the top end fizz, which I believe in my 2716 review video I said those are two areas that I thought, you know, maybe if they wanted to tweak it a little bit could be improved. I can't remember if I said that exactly, I'm probably making all this up, but as somebody who has actually used the pedal quite extensively, because I actually think it's a really good sounding preamp pedal, those were honestly two things that came to mind pretty much every time I used it. And they have definitely done that in the 2716 V2 side of the pedal. Now, over here on the boost side of the pedal, this is the Westminster, I keep saying Westminster, Physician Overdrive pedal, which is basically like a badass TS9 type pedal. It's definitely nothing revolutionary, it's definitely nothing crazy, but it's basically a hotter, slightly thicker TS9 to my ears. I have also reviewed the Physician individually on my channel before, so I will actually link to each individual pedal, the first 2716 and the Physician, so you guys can go check out those reviews if you want to see the individual pedal reviews, because today on this pedal I'm kind of just gonna do a quick playthrough as opposed to a deep dive, and I'm gonna show you the pedal number one with the analog XLR output. That is actually what you guys heard in the intro of this video. This has an analog speaker simulation built into it. The entire purpose behind this pedal is to have a one-stop shop for Seth for his live tone and live gigs. He can essentially just plug this pedal in anywhere and need nothing else in order to get his live tones out of it. This speaker is very smooth. The whole pedal is very smooth. Seth is a very lead-oriented player, and this thing works for stuff like that in spades. It's very thick, very mid-forward. It kind of reminds me of like a Bogner Ubershaw with the gain cranked up and the treble rolled back, but you can also play with it a little bit to get some belligerent rhythm tones out of it. But yeah, that is the thought behind the pedal. The execution is here in front of you. This pedal comes in at $299. I have an affiliate link to Westminster Effects down below. If you guys use that link buying this pedal or any other Westminster pedal, I actually do get a nice little kickback. And I also want to tell you, in the sake of full transparency, that this is a sponsored video. Cody has sent me this pedal and he is paying me to share it with you guys here on the channel. So feel free to take everything I have to say with a massive grain of salt. I am a soulless YouTube shill and will literally do anything for a 5 spot. But just know, you guys are gonna get my honest thoughts and opinions as you always do. So keep that in mind. So with all that stuff out of the way, let's revisit that intro tone using that XLR speaker simulated output, going directly into my interface. So as you can see, it is very, very thick. It is very rounded off on top, but it doesn't sound completely dead or completely nasally like some other super lead driven preamp pedals might sound. And the great thing about it is you don't need the physician on in front of it in order to get those tones out of it too. You can kind of do it with the presence and the treble control. I will say the bass, you still need to have it pretty much cranked if you want to get a chunky palm mute out of it. And the mid control doesn't do a whole lot, honestly. The range across the sweep is pretty limited, but it basically does fill in a couple crucial mid frequencies in order to make the pedal sound really full and forward in the right frequencies for playing loser shit like leads. So with the physician off, sounds like this. And honestly, this will be one of the few times where I actually like a preamp pedal or an amp better without the overdrive on in front of it. I really do think the overdrive probably is for kicking in when Seth just wants some like crazy saturation and to be able to play some really effortless, compressed leads that are just gonna kind of sing without much effort. That's what effortless means. So yeah, that has been the XLR output of the pedal. We are actually going to now test it through the power amp of a 5150. And then I also have a Seymour Duncan power stage and the Heinatone Cab Screamer 60 that you guys really seem to like and I really liked. This is a $130 60 watt power amp. So I'm gonna do a quick tone refresher through the 5150 power amp with this Angle 412 with vintage 30s in it, SM57 on the V30. I have my Grisenia Empress Nero here with the Duncan Nosgold on the bridge. We're gonna check out a drop C and a baritone guitar real quick too, just so you guys can see how it works with different tunings. Oh yeah, through the 5150 power section, man, this pedal for me really comes to life. I really liked the V1. I like the V2 a lot. Going through this particular setup, I think it sounds full, it sounds really chunky, really saturated, and it is overall a very smooth tone, but it has just enough of the clank and the top end sizzle to really get me going. Let's try a drop C guitar. All right, guys, I have my Epiphone Murder Paul here with the Seymour Duncan JB rails in the bridge. Currently, we do not have the physician on in front of the pedal. This is literally just the 2716. So yeah, as you can see, very thick, very chunky. I do have the highs and both the treble and the presence kind of cranked, and that did actually lead to it being a little bit fizzy on the top. But let's actually see if we can get the physician to do that for us a little bit. Let's back the gain down on the 2716. right, so as you can see, super thick still, very chunky, very saturated, but turning the physician side of the pedal on in front of the 2716 definitely does add a little bit more of that upper mid clankiness. It kind of takes out some of the boomy bass frequencies, and it really does tighten it up and brighten it up. Now, I will say one area where I still think this pedal could be improved is when you roll off the gain on the 2716, the pedal thins out significantly. So in order to kind of get like the fullness and the chunk out of this pedal that I think most people would desire, maybe I'm just speaking out of my ass here, but I would like to see the pedal retain a little bit more thickness as this gain is rolled down, so that way you can boost it with something with the gain on the actual 2716 rolled back a little bit and not lose so much of the fullness and make it sound anemic. Just to show you what I mean with the gain, I'm going to roll through the gain range real quick. So that's what I mean. I really would like to see this pedal be able to back the gain down a little bit more without it losing the full end thickness in the bottom, so that you could kind of fine tune it with more overdrives and stuff. But again, that's just me. So let's roll it back up a little bit and let's grab a baritone for a really drop tune riff. Alright, so with the physician kicked on in front of the 2716 side for the really low tuned stuff, this thing actually sounds really, really cool because it has that vocal mid thing going on with the low cut out from the drive. It really kind of just gives it that cocked wah type of sound, which usually works really, really well for the super low tune stuff. Again, would like to be able to roll off the gain a little bit more because it was a little bit oversaturated for my liking. But if I were to roll it any lower on either the physician side or the 2716 side, things would start getting really thin. But I think I have an idea to kind of combat that as we move on to the power amp comparison. All right, guys, so I have my Heritage H150 Artisan aged here with the Seymour Duncan Antiquity in the bridge. This being a low output PAF, I think is going to work in my advantage because I was able to roll the gain up, but because of the low output of the pickup, it's not overly saturated, but I get the fullness out of the pedal with the physician side overdrive kicked in. So I'm going to play the same riff through the 5150 power amp, through the Duncan Power Stage 200 power amp, and then through the Cab Screamer 60. guys, that's gonna do it for me today on the Westminster Effects 2716 Deluxe Seth Morrison Signature Bing Bong pedal. It's got the bing, it's got the bong, bing bong. What did you guys think about this pedal? What do you think about the tones that I was able to get out of it in this video? And do you think I screwed the pooch? Do you think you could do better? Do you have either a Physician or a 2716 in your arsenal? And if so, what do you think about them? And is this a pedal that you see yourself buying? Let me know down below in the comments. And of course, if it is a pedal that you do want to buy, I would really appreciate it if you use that Westminster Effects affiliate link that's going to be in the description and in the comments for this pedal, as that stuff goes a long way in helping out the channel and helping out the studio and helping me do what I do. Because again, I am a soulless YouTube shill. I would have done this for free. Cody's a sucker. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I'm going to get out of here. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.